fun story to start with for you guys. There's a gentleman named Chris Tague. He's in New York. He's running for supervisor and assembly candidate. He's a Republican, so he wants to cut the budget. Okay, he's going to be very tough about that, kind of. He is going to be talking to Don Mathisen on WIOX, and this radio interview did not go well. Let's listen in.
The current New York State budget is about $149 billion. That works out to $7,570 per person. As a comparison, Florida has about the same number of people. They spend $92 billion. That's $4,500 per person. So does New York spend too little, too much, or maybe the right amount?
I think they spend too much.
So where would you cut?
They don't spend it in the right places.
So what would you cut?
Well, there's a lot of different programs, I would say, that need to be looked at. I mean, number one, well, I would say probably in the areas of hold on one second, would you?
Sure.
I'm having one of those moments.
Wow. You know who's fist pumping right now? Rick Perry, like, yes. Okay, that guy was worse than me. We finally found the guy. Rick Perry's going around town going about my friend Tague over here. Look, dude, you claim that the budget is bloated. You're running on that. That's your whole thing. Oh my God, these some bitch Democrats and liberals overspending. Okay, name one thing that they're overspending on. This is not a hostile interview. The guy's going to try to help him in a second, probably agrees with him. But he's like, any idea what you're running on? So this is not an obscure issue. This is not, hey, what did you think about the minutia of one particular tax bill? It's, okay, we're way overspending. Anything, what are we overspending on? My favorite part was the breathing. That put him over the top of Rick Perry, nicely done. And dude, you can't come up with a single excuse, not one. Like, hey, my kids are in the room, sorry I got distracted. Okay, what was that again? Let's take a break and come back if you don't mind. I'm sorry about the kids. I don't know, make something up. He's not going to, the pain continues.
Maybe I could help. Some of the biggest areas that the state spends money on are education. They also spend a lot of money for Medicaid. And
you know what? That's exactly where, as far as education goes, I'm a proponent of education. And I'd like to see us, especially in rural upstate New York.
Wait. Hold on.
Yep.
The question on the table is, where will you cut the budget?
Well, I think Medicaid's a good place to start. But you asked me a question about, also about education. What I was saying.
No, I was trying to help you. I was saying those are the big areas. When somebody says they're running for office, my job is to ask them specific questions. So, okay, you're running for the state assembly. If you get elected, you're saying to me that the state spends too much money. So I would like to know, if you get elected, what areas you think the state should spend less money on.
And I just told you Medicaid.
That's it.
Well, that's one of them.
Let's talk about guns.
Mercy, that was the host throwing in the towel, trying to get him out of that ring. So that's the only thing you got. We should cut Medicaid. By the way, that's not popular either. And there is a really important point here. Who cares about Chris Tague? And he's running for assembly candidate in New York. That's not the point. The point is, overall for the Republican Party, they're full of it. They don't actually have huge areas of the budget to cut. How do I know that on the national level? Well, they told us forever, don't worry, we can do tax cuts for the rich, and then we'll find plenty of places to cut. Well, we'll cut, no problem at all, right? And then it turns out, oh no, you couldn't. You did the giant tax cuts, and you put a $1.5 trillion, not billion, $1.5 trillion hole in the deficit, because there aren't that many places to cut. In fact, one of the places they tried to cut was CHIP, which is health insurance for kids. And that polled at 80% popularity, the program did. So cutting a program that was 80% popular did not play well. And then they bargained and they held it hostage until Democrats gave them something in the budget bill, et cetera. And then they pretended they were for CHIP all along. They're like, children's health insurance. Well, of course we're for it. I mean, you go down the list, even if this knucklehead could name a couple of things. A go-to move on the national level is, you cut foreign aid. That's foreigners getting money, right? The number one recipient of foreign aid is Israel. Do you want to cut their aid? No, we're going to keep Israel's aid. The number two recipient is Egypt because of a peace deal they made with Israel. So we need to give it to Egypt because of Israel. Do you want to cut that aid? Israel doesn't want us to cut it, so we can't cut that either. So what do you want to cut? Chris Tague right there was the representation of the Republicans on a macro level. They don't know what to cut. They couldn't possibly cut enough to justify the tax cut they keep giving for the rich. That is why under Republican presidents like Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush and Donald Trump, deficits always explode. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
I'm like a smart person.
So do it right now, tytnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.